What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Modern Mortgage Show, where I interview mortgage professionals who share their stories and modern information about the industry. I'm your host, Rocco, and I'm very happy to start off the week with my guest today. His name is Bill Murphy, and he's the branch manager at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation out of Auburn, Massachusetts. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Rocco. Excited to be on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. So, Bill, why don't we start off the show? Can you just tell us a brief introduction about yourself and a little bit about who you are?
Sure thing. Yeah, I've been in the business 22 years. Been with Fairway, producing branch manager. So I write a lot of the business. Been able to try to get some loans here in spite of what's happening out there with this awful virus. Big refis, some purchases.
Mhm.
Not quite the spring market we were hoping for, though. But staying in touch with agents and very important, especially these times, to stay in touch with agents and let them know you still care. And even though they may not be doing as much business, it's very important to get in touch.
Absolutely. So, you said you've been in the industry 22 years?
Yeah, that's
Did
correct.
you do any type of work before you got into the industry?
Yeah, I worked for a juvenile lockup as a counselor and a supervisor. It was Department of Youth Services in Massachusetts,
Hmm.
and I was there 5 years. I was in I got my master's in counseling psych, so totally never thought I'd be in the mortgage business. But I think that's everybody's path. No one dreams
Mhm.
as a kid to be in the mortgage about being in the mortgage business, so it just usually falls upon us.
Yeah, for sure. So, what made you really get into the industry?
So while I was at the Department of Youth Services, I decided to transfer out to California, and the story goes like this: I was uh, preparing to get on the California Highway Patrol, and while I was waiting for residency out there and getting the call, I started telemarketing for a mortgage company, and just fell in love with that kind of phone work that we're doing, and as they say, the rest is history. Never did fulfill the dream of being in chips, California Highway Patrol. Went on to just stay in the mortgage business out there a couple years, then moved back to Mass, and
Mhm.
been here back 20 years.
Awesome. So, you kind of touched on this a little bit briefly. We're in a very weird situation right now, and the industry is in a weird time. So, what are you doing right now to push past these uncertain periods of time?
Well, I think it's very important to keep everybody informed. Be the calming voice out there. I mean, there's a little bit of panic and fear, of course, with
Hmm.
all the uncertainty, and so we've started doing. I'm a big proponent of being in touch with agents and being in touch with your database. And so we started doing with a local attorney who was in the know of just some of the legislation and changes in the industry, and we've partnered up with him. We're doing a weekly Facebook Live on the state of the industry. I mean, credit scores on govies are changing every day. Um, Bond loans are changing. Jumbo markets changing. Credit leniencies changing. Everything's changing. So the agents really don't know all what's going on. So we are super in touch with them because they need to hear it. There's a lot of lenders that were calling some of these agents, and the sky is falling. The industry is never going to be the same. They don't need to hear that. You need to be if you're getting in touch with your agents out there. You need to be the voice of reason. You need to be that calming person that's going to be reassuring to them as that trusted advisor when this thing turns around. That's what they need to hear. They don't need to be panicked any more than they already are.
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of what we're doing right now to stay in front of agents and always just calm the database. I mean, half the database thinks the rates are 0% because when the Fed cut a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and that's an interesting conversation. And then the other part of that, what's happening is, unfortunately, many people are losing their jobs. I mean, I have several folks in process that just got furloughed, got laid off. they can't qualify anymore. Some folks had the credit scores pretty low, going govy. They can't qualify anymore. So it's a lot of consulting and um, nurturing nurturing during these tough times.
Definitely very strange times as of right now. You said that's you're doing a weekly live.
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
that on your Facebook, your
Yeah, it's
personal
on
page?
our business
Okay.
Facebook. It's Fairway Independent Mortgage Auburn. Um, and I'm sure you could probably put a link in there if anyone's
Yeah,
interested in what we're doing.
yeah,
We
definitely.
actually even had a doctor on last week, just because we're supposed to hit the peak. They're talking, so I had a local doctor, um, kind of just talk about ways to stay safe, just things that can be done. I mean, you can turn on the news and see all that, but from a local standpoint, it's pretty important, and
Mhm.
a lot of folks were able to ask questions on that Facebook Live, so it was valuable and it added a lot of value. We sent that out to the whole database, and we sent that out to our agents as well.
Hmm. Very cool. So yeah, I'll definitely put a link after the show to that if anyone wants to check that out. So you've been in the industry a long time now. I'm sure you've helped many, many people. So what would you say is your, the most fulfilling or rewarding thing about your job?
Oh, it's all. I mean, it's pretty rewarding and fulfilling to definitely put someone in that house, man. Especially first time home buyer,
Hmm.
sharing their excitement and be a small part of their, or actually a large part of their financing, but to get them into that house, um, is definitely the best part of that. And then, not quite as fulfilling, but more as a person to trust, and a trustworthy, um, let's say, associate, friend. So I've been in long enough where, I've put people in their house, and now I've done their kids and grandkids homes, and things like that. But half the calls we get are divorces, and it's, I put them in their house 10 years ago, and now I get that call, they're getting divorced, and I know, I may know the husband and wife in that situation, and it's, sometimes getting them both involved, and that's a tough time too. So dealing with those uh, divorce clients, I guess that's where my background comes in with the counseling psychology. Is, I understand that they're going through a tough time, and it's not, at that point, it's not about rate. It's about being that person that they can talk to, being that person that listens to their story. There's a lot of angst and pain and fear and uncertainty as well in those situations, and it's important that, you're that soothing,
Hmm.
calming voice in person again, just like we are in these times of this virus. You got to be that person. And like I said last week, it was, I got a lot of calls from agents that some of me I don't even work with, and they were saying, "Bill, what is going on? I'm getting all these calls from these lenders just telling me that, you know the mortgage industry as we know it is collapsing again." So it's not like that. There's just changes. We're going to be okay. The government and the Fed and everybody else, they are not going to let 2008, 2009 happen all over again. That the
Hmm.
financial crisis is not going to happen. Too much damage was done. That was we were almost in a depression. So that won't happen. They're going to do everything they can to save the housing market. The housing market is so important, to getting everybody back on their feet. With, I mean, I was just reading something today about, all the expenditures on a house. Whether it's, the rebuilding of a house. You got to go to your Home Depot and Lowe's, and your contractors, and your financing, and there's just so much of the economy that's housing related. That can't go away. We can't have a crisis there again. So that will be saved, and it will be, there'll be liquidity put into the markets for the mortgage and housing and real estate industry.
Hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of misinformation going around right now. Those, the forbearance and the mortgage payments is definitely one of them. Can you just kind of explain that to the viewers?
Yeah, yeah, sure thing. Um, Forbearance, I think, is very important. It sounds like, everybody's got a right not to make their payments. I actually have seen some articles and some commentary on it. I don't think it was done correctly because there was no guidelines on the forbearance. And basically, if you're not impacted by the virus situation, whether it's a job loss um, or anything of that matter, you can still ask for a forbearance. And I don't think
Hmm.
that will hurt the mortgage and housing industry if people just take the forbearance. I think you want to only take it if you need to take it,
Yep.
and I don't think it should be abused. Hopefully, they revamp some of those guidelines or actually create guidelines for it, where people can defer their payments uh, in the future. So it's there's still it's still a moving target how they're putting that together. So if you're truly in trouble, call your servicer, ask them um, what it means to uh, how they're writing their forbearance, what you can do. Also, make sure that they're not going to report a um, delinquency to the credit bureaus. You need to cover yourself, not just not pay your mortgage. So
Hmm.
that's kind of what I would say to the forbearance stuff. Get informed. Call your servicer of your mortgage, and then start there. Most likely, your phone call won't be answered because of the high call volume. You probably will need to go to the website and see the information there. So anybody that's in trouble, struggling to make their payment, get on your service's website. Phone call may direct you to another link as well. So do your due diligence, not just decide not to write the check for your mortgage.
100%. So shifting gears here, you've been in the industry 22 years now. So when you first started out, what were your biggest struggles or obstacles that you had faced early on in your journey?
Uh, getting business.
Hmm.
Um, and so I always try to add value. And I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier is, everybody has a story. If, I learned early on, never answer the rate question, because if you're just a commodity and you think you're the lowest rate, someone else is going to beat you. But if you're the person that uh, is that trusted advisor, you're creating their house as an asset, as a wealth building tool. As again, we talked about some tough situations where folks have to relocate or buy a house. You need to be that person that listens to the story and has solutions uh, for whatever issues they have, or um, whatever goals they need to achieve. So you have to listen. Active listening is so important. If you're just an order taker and you just answer a rate question, you're not going to get many deals. So be when you get in contact with folks, make sure that um, you are listening to the story, asking the question. And I'll give you an example. Whenever someone says, "Hey, what's your rate?" I say, "What are you looking to do?" "Well, I'm looking to refinance." "Oh, you looking to refinance, take some cash out?" And no, 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 no. I just want to refinance. Well, what's happening? Well, I got a lot of credit card debt, and I got a lot of I want to debt consolidate, and so you want cash out, so there's a story there, and then next thing you know. You're saving them $1,000 a month because you just consolidated 40 grand into their mortgage payment that they didn't even think they needed. They just heard that rates were low. So they're not gonna, they're less likely to beat you up on rate. And I'm not saying you if you're the highest rate in town, you're gonna get all the business. But if you're competitive, and I think most, on a everyone's on a level playing field for the most part, within an eighth or a quarter. I mean, you're gonna get your share of business if you do the things that you need to do, and that's consult people and listen to their story, speak their story back to them, because now you're showing them. Now in this example of somebody that had $40,000 in debt, and you're saving them $1,000 a month, that's on a refinance. That's your you're let them feel the pain, um, and take that pain away. Now you're their problem solver. For example, hey, writing those checks or sending out that bill pay every month must really hurt. Writing those checks and not seeing your debt go down because you're just paying interest. You're paying 22%, 29% interest. That must be a tough time. Oh yeah, I hate writing those checks. I hate that bill pay. I hate when that time comes. Well, you're now you can celebrate that you're going to take that away from them. I'm going to take that pain away from you. So I would think they're going to be less likely to go down the street and worry about rate. You're saving them $1,000 a month on their debt, on a debt consolidation refinance, for example. So
Mm.
listening to the story.
Okay, so what would you say? Like you said, your a big problem was getting business. How did you? So just how would you advise someone to fix that problem?
So what I tell everybody, and this is what I learned, if you were going to have a wedding, invite 250 people to your wedding, and you're just starting out, get that wedding list and let everybody know that you're in the mortgage business and you wanna help them. And they'll, some of the objections may be, well, I would rather work with someone experienced, and just say, listen, hey, I work for this great company. I have this awesome manager. I have this great team of experienced people. I will make sure that you're taken care of. If you ask me a question, I have the resources where I can always get an answer for you very quickly.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how you get over the rookie piece of that, the rookie mentality, by letting people know that you have the resources as a rookie. Get that wedding list together, um, and start. That's your database. Then the other thing I would do is go join your board of realtors. Join your board of realtors and get involved in every single committee, every single event you possibly can. Again, obviously you're not having many events and committees meetings right now, but at least start to get that going for when this does turn around, that you can be visible. I feel like some of the younger loan officers that come into the business, the most successful ones are the ones that are the most involved in the board of realtors. So excuse me, that's been very helpful. I would say for people just getting in the business, and that's what I tell all my new folks to do, especially showing your face around the agents.
Okay, yeah, and that was my question. My next question was going to be, what tips or advice would you give to a loan officer just starting out? So mainly, just get your name and your face out there.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. So in recent years, technology has really made its way into the industry, and it's revolutionized it. So how would you say this has affected you and your business?
Um, wow. I mean, it's just I used to handwrite applications, so it's probably dating myself, but it's just been a whirlwind. I mean, we use a CRM for our
Hmm.
database. Our LOS, loan origination software, is just incredible. I mean, it improves efficiencies. Here we are on a Zoom call. Well, no, this isn't a Zoom call. This is a what do you
Eli.
call? Be like. So I use Zoom, and I've been
Yeah.
having agent meetings on Zoom. I've been having some client meetings on Zoom. So technology is changing every day. A year ago I didn't do Zoom meetings with agents. Now because of this, we're doing Zoom meetings, and anybody, I tell my team and I tell my loan officers, I tell everybody, listen, you need to be doing video. You need to be getting out there and showing your face when people can't see your face. You need to be relevant. You need to be all over social media. Um, you know, uh, Instagram, Facebook, um, TikTok. I have my marketing intern help me with TikTok. I don't even, my kids use TikTok. I don't even really know how it works yet, but LinkedIn, and just be the professional. People are thirsty for knowledge in uncertain times, and if you're that uh, again, trusted advisor that's giving valuable information on what's happening, and being, again, the calming, soothing, reasonable voice, that's going to make a difference. You can't be screaming the sky's falling. um, so take technology and make yourself visible when no one else can be seen,
Mhm.
and that's with the video. Here
Yeah,
we are.
100%. You said you touched on technology is definitely allowing tasks that used to take a lot of time. They're automated now. They're streamlined, and it's just making things a whole lot easier.
Yep.
So, are there any you touched social media? Are there any modern strategies that you or your team are taking advantage of and using in terms of social media? Gaining more business, maintaining better relationships, or just systemizing your business in a way.
Yeah. So now we're doing the Zoom calls, as I mentioned, the Facebook Live Zoom calls on just during this time. I mean, I've always been a big proponent of lunch and learns for the agents,
Hmm.
um, and but that's all. It's all marketed uh, through the database with emails, texts, um, we you know uh, voice calls. We And then we show it we show it all over social media.
Hmm.
We do weekly videos for our agents. Every Saturday morning, we send out a video just on the relevance of the industry. Um, you know, in January, we're doing videos on the market being hot in this, a hot spring market in January, where
Hmm.
we were seeing where this was headed. That's why I think when this turns around, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Um, so do timely things. I mean, there's so much stuff that you could do a video on right now, just on what's happening every single day. I mean, you talked about it, the forbearance, the stimulus, how agents can use virtual tours. I mean, they should be doing more and more of that. I mean, um, if they don't want to meet their clients, they can do the virtual tours of houses, and I've seen some offers get accepted that way too.
Hmm.
That's technology. So there's a lot of things that can be done.
Yeah, 100% agree with the video. It's just so easy just to pull out even your phone and just shoot a quick video. I mean, you're on your phone right now and it looks like it's a professional camera. It's just so easy to just pull out your phone, make a quick video, and just upload it
Yeah,
all
and
over social
yeah,
media.
just get familiar with whatever you use. Like I'm pretty familiar now with Zoom. I mean,
Hmm.
we do a lot of our calls on Zoom. Like this was a new platform that for me, so I had some I was struggling on the computer, but here we are. I'm on my phone.
Yep, we're adapting. What CRM do you guys use?
It's called Motivator. It started with our company, and I think they're
Hmm.
branching out. But it sends out automated emails on just what's happening in the process, and there's credit. There's there's some credit emails. There's some refinance emails. There's purchase emails. Just it's just automated. It's nice, and it'll go out to the agents too to let them know what's happening. So they usually appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, last question here. Um, where do you see all of this going in the future in terms of technology and social media in the mortgage industry specifically?
Well, I think it's going to continue to evolve.
Hmm.
Um, I keep thinking about what is the new normal right now, and when we're out of this, I think you're going to see less face to faces. I
Yeah.
think you're going to see less people coming into the office. I think you're going to see more folks doing. Here we are again. Video conferences.
Hmm.
Setting out that link, sending out. Mortgage Coach is great. You can share your screen. You can show them what they're looking at for. MBS Highway is another one. You can send them your proposal, and then you can share your screen, and you can go over video that way. I think you're going to see more and more of those. I had folks that were wanting to refinance, and they asked me to do some video conferences with them. I mean, we're in unprecedented times, and you mentioned it earlier. You have to change. If you're just old school and you're closed-minded to adapting, you might have a tough time when this does turn around. You have to be so open-minded and have that broad vision of what's to be, and also look for opportunities to take advantage. There's some silver linings out there to pick up more business. A lot of people are depressed and lazy. I mean, for lack of better terms, and it's important that you're working hard. Staying in touch with people. People are at their house. They want to hear from somebody new. They want to see somebody new. Yeah, they probably really love their families now more than ever, or not. But just to see a new face. I mean, do a video call with somebody. I mean, it's just going to break up their day, and they're going to appreciate that, especially when we're stuck in our homes.
Very well said. So it sounds like you see video becoming more and more used.
Yeah, here we are. I mean, a couple years ago, we would probably be doing a podcast without video, right? We'd just do it on the
Mhm.
phone, and here we are on video right now.
Yep, 100%. Well, Bill, I really want to thank you so much for coming on the show today, sharing some knowledge and your story with the viewers. I had an amazing time speaking with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And thank you to all the viewers for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you again next time.